Inside, you see a set of steering levers.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you? Still no word, I'm afraid, sir. Just a...
10-4, come in, officer. Over. Roger that. 10-10, over.
Hey, was there something you needed? Got the 20 real? Then why are you wasting my time?
Hello again, officers. Have you come to admire my mural?
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
You hear some...
Officer, care to play a game with the lonely old man? Actually, never mind. Wouldn't be the same. The prick is gone. I can barely believe it, but...
He is trying to retain his jolly facade, but the underlying sadness casts a deep...
Hell, most likely. He was an absolute cunt. His hungry little heart finally gave out. The dock workers found him in the guard booth this morning. Wasn't even supposed to be working for another week, but he just had...
Wait, did he push himself to prove he can pull his weight and doesn't need handouts?
Guess he was about to head home. 'Cause when the dock workers found him, he was wearing civilian clothes and not the Kuketu uniform. Sometimes I thought he was wearing it just to piss me off. Now the joke's on him, 'cause he's gonna be buried without it.
That means the uniform could still be in the guard booth. Something to keep in mind if you really plan to give yourself to Revachol.
No, René was the most stubborn man in Revachol. Nothing you or I repeat, an absolute cunt. Even his old army buddies didn't want him around. He was like an old... The only people who could stand to be around him were Jenny and me. She saw some... and she never lost sight of it. And I thought if the most beautiful being in the world can love him, we've hated each other our entire lives. So much, in fact, that... Yes, I loved that angry prick. He didn't deserve it, but I did. You know what his last words to me? In Guillaume's time, you'd have been shot without trial. That's what he said to me. He lived a cunt, and he died a cunt. Let's leave it at that. I took them for myself. Took them to remember that old cunt.
Strange how old cunt sounds almost gentle when he says it now.
Yes, we are both very sorry for you.
It is what it is. Part of life, really. But to know someone for 79 years, then one day I just don't know anymore. About anything, really. But you must need something. Yes? What about René?
Yes,
It is I just don't know anymore. About anything, really.
Oh, look. It's the cop who turned me into a bad person.
This is the night watchman's booth. The name on the door reads, "Take it. It's just there." Who cares? The chair is not as austere as the rest of the booth. A thin grey pillow is attached to the seat, secured to the stiles by stale air floods through your nostrils. Not a single stale air floods through your nostrils. Not a single. The drawers are empty, save for old timesheets and receipts. One small box, however, does hold some cheap painkillers. They are slightly out of date.
I'm not here to tell you what to do, detective.
Oh boy, where to start? Elevated risk of dementia? Mini stroke? Don't think about that. Quick, think about something else. The enormity of the case before you dwarfs the list of side effects. You can't even you take the painkillers. They are yours now. You stand and exit the booth.
I suppose René is not going to be needing it anymore. It's a bit too colorful for my taste, though. Fantastic.
This is the...
Oh, hey, mister. I'm not gonna bother you with a long greeting, just like we...
Mr. Dubois, A pleasure as always. You don't have to sit down this time, since you've... Mega rich light-bending guy? Oh my god. How did that get in there? Damn it to hell, Harry. I specifically told my guys to check all the containers for mega-rich light-bending guys. Honestly, Harry, we might be moving a spot of drugs through this harbour, but I won't be caught transporting the light-bending mega-rich. I have a reputation to protect. No, they're not. They're vermin, and one just found a way inside my container. Soon, he'll bring the others. All 3 of them. Thank you for telling me. I'll see to... I shudder to think what you're going to tell me next, Harry.
Not for 1 second did he believe there's an actual mega-rich person somewhere in his container town.
Our tenant, the policeman.
Aye, the sea's gonna calm down soon, I can feel it. The wind is turning south.
The trap is full of luck.
The legend! He's back. And firstly, I got smokes and piss and a little speed to spice things up.
Yes, what is it?
You see, a once bright mural, a slogan used to intertwine with the loops a long time ago.
Hello. Isn't this a fine morning? Sure. What's on your mind? But of course. What else?
It's the ledger you found in the trash. A cabbage of papers hanging from the board, with the permeables drawer inside. It's barely held together. It takes about half an hour to piece one. This one is relatively easy to reconstruct. Overnight on 1202, a graffito, nay, cause of failure, rent too high. The mural is enormous. Two silhouettes, a man and a woman. True love is possible, only in the next world. People call it that thing and that fucking thing. It's visible from the graffito crew is easy to track down. Only the bell lectures have the literage of industrial paint to cover the surface. One of the graffito art, the crew agrees to clean up after themselves. However, your partner, JV, is against the removal, citing public support for conservation. The 9,000 people subjected to the mural's message, all of Lakeside, Central Jamrock, and Villalobos, plus a staggering 78% of voters choose to keep it. Turns out the opposition were a loud minority, and that love truly is possible in the next world for new people, and it is too late for us. Did someone ask what you believe in, man with the smelly toilet ledger? What do you want to tackle next? Or are we done? AKA Leslie and Burke, AKA the public indecency drunk and the property damage drunk, is a cursed case. It has been passed. Leslie will always take his pants off when he's drunk. Burke will always. The only way for Leslie to stop flashing his genitals to bypassers, and for you would think that, but you're wrong. Where's the fun in exposing your genitals, or can you keep yourself off the streets? Threatening, fines, dragging them to. It's plain to see from the files that you. No, that's Burke. Leslie's shtick is. He must have confused it with the. In the process, the ledger sustains. He came at us. Can't get out, which is also why the officer responsible. Not much has changed in the meanwhile. A few locusts.
Hi, Ace Detective. Are you here for more books?
A small mountain of colorful board game boxes. There are numerous types of games for all ages. A lot of shelf space seems to be taken up by Whirling-related merchandise.
Wonderful choice, sir. A wholesome family game.
In your hands, you hold a brand new copy of the game, Suzerainty. The cover features a charming illustration depicting a mass of grinning laborers loading goods on. The exact location and time period are left deliberately vague, but it's clearly meant to represent the economic. The box has a nice heft to it. You hear the rattle of individual wooden tokens. Even before you open it, you can tell that this will be a meaty game of grand strategy and complex player. The plastic wrap rips off as easily as a bodice in a tawdry historical. There's a hiss as the lid slides off. Inside, you find a thick, full cup. Savor that new board game smell. A mix of wood, paper, and ink, all wrapped in the sweet. Welcome to Suzerainty, a game of economic strategy for the whole family. The rulebook is sumptuously illustrated and thick as a grad. The colorful illustrations depict cheerful workers picking apricots, hauling marble sculptures out of crumbling temples, and harvesting a strange magenta leaf. You begin to suspect there may be a political agenda to this so-called family. The instructions are opaque at first and introduce many concepts you're not familiar with. You soon figure out the basic conceit. Each player represents an administrator for the suzerain of Revachol. Your objective is to increase the suzerain's wealth and rename. That's where the suzerain's vassals come in. The game features 4 vassal nations, each one home to an economically important. Each turn, the player collects resources from vassals where they've placed workers. They may then rearrange their workers, fulfill contracts for coin and bonuses, or bills struck. As you leaf through the pages, your eye catches on a sidebar labeled Advice for Beginners. Remember, there are many paths to victory in Suzerainty, but successful players will find one strategy. The actual scoring system appears infinitely complex, with a series of tables and appendices required to compute each player's final victory point. You open up a number of pouches containing wooden tokens. There are also several punch boards with other cardboard components that will need to be punched out. Each cardboard token makes a satisfying chick as you pop it out. Soon, a neat pop.
What? You're not going to offer to let me punch any of them out?
In addition to the worker and building tokens used by each player, from the Empire of Saffre, orange apricot tokens, from Ilmarat, the ancestral name of Il.
Oh, those are nice.
You hold the open game box. The lieutenant looks over the rulebook before he sees something.
Holy shit. The average playing time for this game is 1 to 6 hours. I'm not sure we can afford to set aside that kind of time for a game.
What? Does the lieutenant hate fun? Is he the fun police? The lieutenant gives you a sour look. He may or may not hate fun, but either way, he does not appreciate your attitude. Have you tried goading him?
In your dreams, maybe. I've thrashed my share of trash talkers before. Now come on, let's put childish things aside.
What is detective work if not an elaborate game? You need logical inference, attention.
I do feel like my thinking has become somewhat rigid.
See? He's doing the hard work himself.
Alright. You've convinced me. How do we play?
You explain the basic setup procedures to the lieutenant, who seems to be in the center is the crown of Revachol. Radiating outward are colorful vessels, apricots from Safre, archaeological treasures from... There's also a neat little log to keep track of your progress. The lieutenant goes first. He draws a contract card and moves several of his work.
All right, detective.
You have a few options available to you. Will you try to fulfill contracts right away, or remember what the rulebook said? You'll want to choose a strategy early on and stay committed to it. You draw a contract card offering a number of coins in exchange for archaeological treasures. You place all your workers on the Ilmarat territory. On your next turn, you produce 6 units of archaeological treasure.
Not bad, detective.
But not good enough. The lieutenant seems to be as he completes his own contract card. The lieutenant is rewarded with 4 coins and a...
That's a market. It's worth 2 victory points. Don't worry, it was mostly just luck. You'll earn some points soon enough. Points are nothing. They don't exist. They're just an arbitrary convention that games use to reward or punish players for certain behaviors. There are some paranoid types who believe the moral intern keeps detailed score sheets for everyone in the real. Otherwise, no. There are no points, just your actions and the consequences. That's just the way it is. Now, I believe it's your turn.
Glancing over the board, you see several possible strategies. Pressing more workers into service would increase your economic output and help you to... Those aren't your only options. You could also show your workers how much you appreciate them by investing some of that wealth in them. After all, they're the ones... Well, sure, you can do that. It's just not a terribly effective strategy, but then it's up to you. Using your powers of persuasion, you convince. After several turns, your worker tokens greatly outnumber the lieutenants. A vast army of expendable labor is at your command.
Too bad investing in your workers just isn't worth many points. Take a look at the scoring tables in the back. You see in Table 8C that investing in territorial infrastructure multiplies your final victory point total by 1, which is to say not at all. Whereas erecting monuments in Revachol gives you a multiplier of 5. Yes, precisely.
Nonsense. Remember what the lieutenant said. If points are arbitrary, who cares about winning? You should now it's the lieutenant's turn to respond. He moves aggressively onto the Safre territory. For several turns, you struggle to respond to the lieutenant's burgeoning apricot empire. Eventually, you relocate the majority of your workers. You draw a new contract card. According to the text, there's an aristocrat willing to trade a large supply of cocaine for a number of coins and access. You know, this isn't unlike the situation the historical Revacholian suzerainty faced in Safre. Well, the suzerain was looking for new markets for all the cocaine. It was by introducing cocaine into Safre under exclusive contract. The suzerain created an extremely... If you could somehow get the lieutenant's workers addicted to your cocaine, you could not only make them less productive. Yes, you can. You've reached a critical strategic juncture. How do you respond to the lieutenant's aggression? It takes several turns, but you slowly begin accumulating the cocaine necessary to complete the contract. When you do, it practically rains cardboard coins on your side. Despite your trash talking, the lieutenant still has a formidable "the end game is upon you." How will you spend the vast resources you've acquired? Flipping through the manual, you find the most expensive structure in the game, the Revacholian Victory Column. Alternatively, you could try launching a trade war to crush the lieutenant's economy. The choice is yours. Building the ultimate structure requires diligent economic planning. Rather than build a glorious monument to Revachol's economic superiority, you have to settle for
a risky gambit, detective. Sorry it didn't pay off. That might have helped, yes. Now, let's tally up the scores.
Computing the final scores is almost a game unto itself. You each spend an inordinate amount of time making stacks of coin. After double, then triple checking your maths, you have your 15 victory points. The suzerain will not be impressed.
I've got 26 points. Don't be glum, detective. There's always next time. Figuratively, I mean. There's no way we have... Now, let's clean up and get back to work.
You hold the open game box before you. The sight of bullet holes stirs something in you, making you forget the lieutenant's surname. The faded marks are too degraded to draw any forensic conclusions. Just, they look pretty ancient.
Where? There? Those are old. Yes, the one that happened half a century ago. Those bullets were fired during the revolution and do not warrant an investigation. Not much. I don't have a fresh perspective on it. Shall we go?
It's you again. What is it?
As you look around this room full of sweaty men, swearing, drinking, spitting out tobacco, does this look familiar?
Huh? You got a problem with beer?
Not quite there yet. Push on.
Speak for yourself, buddy. We've been giving a shit for 10 years.
They don't know, man. They weren't here. We had 3 shootings a week, kids dead, fucking graffito everywhere.
Congratulations on the graffito removal. All I see is you sitting around talking about Monica's titties, while...
So what? What do you want from me?
Don't let him drink that. One more push, quick.
Titus?
She stops mid-sentence. That's it. You got him.
You want to talk to her, cop? Fine. I'm gonna let you talk to her. If you don't, if you question her, harass...
What is her name?
Claudia. I'm on due. She's staying here at the Whirling-In-Rags. A real pretty one. Silvery jumpsuit. Blonde. That's I'm on due. With an O-U.
Shit. The girl. The girl upstairs? That can't be her. She knows you drank so hard you forgot you were a cop.
Yeah. Blonde. Tall. 2 rooms over from yours. Sure. Why not? You've probably seen her around.
You inexplicably add cool after the victim's name, with your eyes bulging like some wild beast. Your
I don't understand what's so cool here.
Nothing. We just have a few more questions. Then we'll be
calm, normal. Try to forget this little hiccup.
Relationship? There was no fucking relationship. He raped her. That
was like that karaoke incident all over again. Or like some of the other girls.
Okay, enough. All of this is irrelevant to your stated investigation.
He did it before we killed him. He's not gonna do it again. So what does it matter?
It would help if we establish a timeline.
All right. 2 weeks, maybe? I don't know.
Here you go, boss.
I know her.
How well do you?
A small twitch in the corner of Kim's mouth. He has a hunch about what knowing.
Well enough, Copper. We partied. She's been here for a few months.
He tries to make it sound real casual, but the muscles on his neck tighten.
You mean Revachol? Nah. Our Miss Aranye disco dance.
Don't you give her any more trouble. She's just had some bad luck, that's all.
Shut up, Angie. She doesn't need your help.
Titus gives them both a look. What's with all the silences? It's like these guys don't know how to feel about this. You should keep picking at it.
What do you think I meant? Yeah, pretty much. No, we just fucked. That's all. I'm not gonna give you any details if that's what you're after. So put your dick away.
He really went out of his way to seem comfortable with this topic. That's all you're gonna get for now. He's doing a good job here. A commendable performance of, I don't give a shit.
You don't know her. Not the way I do. Remember what I said. Freight train of pain. Again? Seriously, man. Fine. Fine. Yeah, whatever.
Officer, what was that? You looked strange when he mentioned the assault victim's name. Do you know that woman? Is there something I should know before we talk to her?
Whatever you do, don't say the first thing.
Understood. You were not in good shape on Monday. Okay, that's manageable. That's clearly your interrogation technique. Anything else? What you're saying is, you raped her? Then don't ever say that again. What else? This is unprofessional. Not sharing information with me is unprofessional.
The door is
Who is it?
tired. Control.
This is the police.
Come on up. The door is open.
Sounds like it's coming from upstairs somewhere. You could snoop around before going up. This medicine cabinet is full of wares. Sheets of pills, haphazardly stacked. It's been used quite a lot. Pharmaceuticals line the shelves, sheet upon sheet of pill bottle next to pill bottle.
Anything of note?
Pill bottles rattle like bones as you search the cabinet. Paracetamol, histoperidol, something in a foreign language you can't. Nacra. This is used to treat opioid overdoses. Always handy to have around.
Interesting. That's used for diamorphine overdoses.
You could say he's on the lookout. Among some foreign, probably Messinian or Godvaldian, marked red blister packs you find. What do you find? This is going to take a little know-how. Nothing of note. The further you look, the more arcane it gets. You don't know what the rest of this stuff does. This window is pristine on the inside, unlike the one next to it. Light from the desk lamp reflects smooth as ice. There are spots of mud and rain on the outside. Even following your lead, the lieutenant leans in closer to inspect the...
Looks like it, yes.
Just as you look at the flowers, a gust of wind raises them from the roof, picking them up in the air. You catch a single white flower between your fingers. The rest fly off into the wind. It's a Maybell. The young woman looks at the Maybell in your hand. Just a glance, then takes a drag of her cigarette. The lieutenant gives you an acknowledging little nod. Your 9mm semi-automatic finger pistols produce a satisfying snap. Strange for such a low-caliber finger gun to sound. That's not entirely true. The lieutenant is looking. Six crumbling petals rest on your palm. They're white. A bell.
This is the Insulindian lily, called Maybells or Lucille's tears during the Revolution. Girls used to pin these on soldiers before...
This flower is a spring flower, but it's a bit early.
The revolutionaries, so the communards and the anarchists. White's their color, but the custom started. It's about girls and boys more than sight. Girls sending off boys who are going to their deaths, then also dying them. Yes, but not this early, not to my knowledge. It looks dried, preserved. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see.
The petals feel dry and fragile. Rene, that old man in the uniform. Maybe you should show it to him when you get the chance.
Welcome to the roof.
Her hair is still slick from the shower. Below her silvery jumpsuit, an athletic young body.
I'm sorry for the mess down there. The cleaning lady hasn't come by in days. I'm beginning to wonder if she ever will. It's much nicer now.
Where the dead body used to hang, clearly visible from the roof.
Thank you for that, officers. Truly. Oh yes, legends of room number 1 have made their way around the building. They say a portal to hell has opened in there. They also say that's why the cleaning lady quit. Because of the infernum.
I'm Kim Kitsuragi. I'm a detective from Precinct 57. I see...
Have I ever? Have you grown accustomed to your role as a police officer? Like riding a coppercycle.
Miss, we are investigating the murder of the man down there. The people who...
Huh. I see.
What could she be thinking of? It's hard to say. Her shoulders are relaxed. It's like she's disappointed this wasn't about more entertaining matters.
Clausier Amandou.
Same name that Titus gave you. It sounds Oranese, as does. Her birthmarks also signal Oranje.
I'm 28. Something stupid. Oranese lit. Oranese literature. It's what I studied at the university. Fear of failure, fear of death, how it sucks to be Oranese. All national literatures are...
What about Revacholian literature? People sometimes reveal things about themselves when they discuss such matters.
No. Revacholian lit is about how magnificent and serious Revachol is. It's about how you have to save the world. That's the natural state of the Revacholian hero. Nothing. I do nothing with it. Cool. I've made more money by just being than I have with Oranese lit. Many things. A roller skating instructor, a secretary, Mr.
Of course she won a beauty pageant. She's very symmetrical.
I'm afraid you can't, officer.
Why is that?
Because it's buried in a sealed plastic bag at an undisclosed location on the coast, along with cash and airline tickets.
Thank you for your candor. Why?
They say so in your tourist brochure. Keep travel documents away from your person when west of the river. If I were to lie to you, I would come up with a more mainstream name than Claude.
She seems to be telling the truth, sire.
Look, officers, I like this place, but I don't want to be stuck wandering the city like a ghost after being robbed of my travel documents. I don't want to become an indentured servant in a brothel on Boogie Street, and I don't want my relatives to pay the ransom.
There are plenty of other reasons for hiding your documents from the law.
It's also why I hid it.
Why else?
I'm an unpopular girl. There are people back home who don't like me. If the kind of hurry where you can't afford to not find your documents. But don't worry. This has nothing to do with your investigation. I would love to change the subject. It's not important. Unless I'm some kind of suspect. Phew. Okie dokie.
If any of this made her nervous, it certainly doesn't show in her expression or her movements.
The record. So official. Yeah, it's pretty deluxe. I'm wintering.
How long have you been staying here?
About 4 months. I came in November.
The bills downstairs concur.
Here in the Whirling, here in Martinez, or here in Revachol? Because it's the funkiest building in Martinez. And because all the other buildings are bombed to hell. Thank you. I've put a lot of time and effort into it.
Technically, possession of narcotics is legal in Revachol, but you should still reprimand her.
What did you say? Oh my god. Now it's turning into narcomania. It's got... I'm sorry. Comes in handy when you've done too many opioids.
Is that something that happens to you often, miss?
Better safe than sorry. Very funky. It is.
The lieutenant makes a note in his notebook.
Okay.
Watching herself reflected in the bedroom window, tall and sparkling and draped in smoke.
Yeah? Alright. It's a bit early in the morning for rape, isn't it? Yeah, I'm gonna go with not raped. I can't say that stuff about him. Tell them it's not my style. They'll have to, you know, if they want to jazz up the charges, they'll have to get someone more, rapeable.
It's all very organic. Her mannerisms, her movements. If by they, she means the hardy.
Are you saying that you were asked to tell us you were assaulted?
Not explicitly, but I understood what they meant. It wouldn't hurt to spice things up a bit. Some assault and battery. Sexual assault, maybe. It was clear the latter would be spicier. Pretty much.
Warming them.
I'm 89% sure. You know how it is.
Do you?
Maybe you don't.
There are numerous cigarette burns on those silvery scales. Easy to see now that you're closer.
In conclusion, officer, I'm gonna go with a mild to medium, not raped here. Let me make this 100% clear then, officer. I was not sexually assaulted. Would I be as flippant if I had been? We partied. A lot of partying going on.
From Titus. About her and Titus's relationship. That's where you heard it.
Yes. We made balloon animals, drank lemonade, inflated a bouncy castle.
Yeah, I love that too. We frosted the glasses, I unwrapped my bike, there was a petting zoo with little—
I would like it to have been that way, but...
How was it?
We drank, sir. A lot. For weeks, basically.
What else?
Stimulants. Speed also has that effect, making you drink harder. And then drinking harder makes you do more speed. It's quite the combination. I guess you can say that, yes. A bit. Lovers is such an emotional word. But there was something there. We did—
How did you two meet?
Downstairs. At the bar. He was on some sort of assignment. A military man, as you probably know. Had a cool sk—
When was this?
A month ago? Something like that. Oh, yes. I've had a great view. From the roof, out of the bathroom window.
A bitter cringe. It hurts. He takes a small step.
You called us, the RCM.
Yes.
Jackpot.
I made it. And I would appreciate it if you didn't tell everyone. In Martinez, they call it snitching.
Reporting crimes is confidential in Revachol, miss.
I didn't exactly disguise it. I just muffled the mic and nicked the landline a little. With nail clippers. And I diverted some radio fuzz into it. Into the cold wire.
So, she's God's mystery foam cutter.
Did I? Fuck. I didn't mean to. I had no idea what I was doing.
Jigsaw falling into place. This is satisfying. Good catch. Still, that's pretty clever tampering. Simple and clever. Crossing the lines like that.
Thanks.
She looks a bit like a little girl who's just been complimented on her bike repair skills.
I don't know, sir. It was stupid. I was drunk, too. I was probably afraid the union was listening in. Locals say they have—
We're not entirely convinced about that answer, but okay. Let it slide.
Thank you for making the call, miss. It was the right thing to—
I didn't want to, sir. But if I hadn't, you'd still be hanging there. I'm sorry, I can't do it. Not right now. Later, maybe. I keep seeing him. Like he is now. I can't talk about it.
I know it's difficult, miss. We can return to it later.
He had something to do with the strike. One has been roiling since I got here. Rotten timing.
And his role in the strike was?
I think he was in a security detail. He was ex-military, worked for Wild Pines, and against the Union.
And they lynched him for it?
She nods.
They're frequent guests downstairs. They have a booth for Union members. They're probably down there now. Over drinks. It's been a long, boring winter. A little, yeah.
Like you partied with the deceased?
No, not as hard.
I'm sorry to have to ask this, but have you had a physical relationship?
I have. Which ones, sir? I don't remember precisely. Titus, obviously. But as I said, it's been a long winter.
She breathes a silvery sigh of relief and weariness.
Should we head by downstairs, officer? We may have things to discuss there.
She nods. Silvery cigarette fumes disappear into her mouth.
Not my favorite topic, but okay. How about we, change the subject to something more lighthearted now?
She looks at the dried petals in you. Chipped white polish covers the nail. It's long and sharp.
Pretty. Looks like a dried maybell. Is that the one you caught? A martial art, sir.
Samurai boxing or sambo.
Why was there a flower on the roof? I don't know, officer. Because of the wind? Yes, you're just one room away. Very
good. Yes. This means she could have heard something. Like what you were doing before you blacked out.
You do not need to know that. What you need is to ask normal police questions, like...
Quick, say something professional. Soft, light brown eyes look back at you, directly into the space behind your eye sockets. I have bad news for you. You know these guys? Who? Me? Yes, you. He's talking about you. You too. Me? What did I do? These guys are compromised. She's got them singing along to her tune. The little bleeps and bloops you trust for him. Believe it. There's no way of knowing. At the moment, I'm afraid it's best to assume. All of them. Bullshit, man. I ain't compromised. Especially that guy. No fucking way, man. I just want... Really? Quick. Glory. Truth. Softness. Protect her. She... How it always does. Through subtlety. There's nothing you can do about it. You are how you are, and she is how she... No. It's better to know you're being played than to be played without knowing it, is it? Yes. Mr. Thespian here has been... She is a lady, most fair. In his defense, to reduce him to such inadequacy, she probably had to employ half-truths. That is correct. And omissions too. A little. They're all still of limited use, interpreting things to the best of their ability. But when it comes to assessments of character and factual accuracy, they are not to be trusted. Don't be melodramatic. You can trust them. Just not with Miss Orange Disco Dancer here. You can't draw a sound conclusion. The one you... She may want to control the information rollout, not to become a suspect. She may have a past. She's a... See? It's oddly moderate. Probably compromised. Don't worry. It's only been 4 or 5 seconds. You've got this. For a second, her face disappears from your cornea. Only a silvery negative, still smiling, a tired smile.
Why not? I'll be here until 11 p.m., drinking coffee, most likely.
You made the right call there. It feels good. Pure. I'm talking about your zero-tolerance policy toward the mania of narco. You're in the right there. Yes, you're pure. Unravaged by narco. Of course, it's pretty obvious you've done a lot of drugs in the past. Of course not. You've always been anti-narco militant material. You kept her off a dark course with that interjection. Are you ready to save lives?
That's good to hear.
The same small, heavy door. No lock in sight.
Looks like we have more to discuss with those so-called hardy boys. Nothing will make them respect the RCM, but it will disrupt the game they prepared for us. We just stripped off one layer of whatever it is. What else could she have done? Lie? She saw there was no way to lie and get away with it.
You would have caught it. Like hell you would have, remember?
If not you, then me. It was a smart move from her. You think so? Being candid is the best way to lie. The appearance of candor with some facts thrown in draws that she may be trying to control the pace of the investigation. Anyway, we should move. I suspect